Good morning, everyone. In today's lecture, we will continue with the next topic of theory of computation, and which is the DFA and NDFA. Okay, so already we have discussed what is in the previous lecture. We have discussed what is automation, what is the need of automation, how a machine works by getting an input from a user, how it processes and produce the output. For that, we have seen some example also, that how a character string is being processed. Then we have studied what is the block diagram of an automation system. It contains three parts: input tape, read write head, and finite control mechanism. We have studied what are the application of this finite automata, finite state machine, what are the drawbacks of finite state machine, and where these machines are being used for their actual implementation. What are the powers of this machine and what are the drawbacks of this machine, we have already discussed. One of the major limitation of this machine is that this machine is not having any type of memory associated with it. So the state which is under currently execution is only remembered by the machine, and the state which has completed its execution and the finite state machine has moved on to the next state, then it will forget all its computation about the previous state. This is the working of finite state machine. It doesn't have, remember that it doesn't have any type of memory associated with it. This is one of the important note that you have to keep in mind whenever we are talking about finite state machine or finite automata. Okay, so we have seen how the state changes, what is a transition system, what is a transition, when a transition is happening. This we have discussed in previous lecture. Transition occur on a state when a particular input symbol is applied. When a proper input symbol is applied to a state, the state may get changed. I am not telling that it will get changed, it may get changed. Okay. Suppose if you apply 1 as an input to Q naught state, it may return to Q naught itself. And if you apply an input of 0 to Q naught, it may change its state from Q naught to Q1. This change of state by applying an appropriate input at a specific time is called as a transition. Okay, this I have already explained to you. I think you have no doubt in that. Okay, so there is very much important in understanding that what is a state and when does a transition occurs on a state. Okay, see, your machine will only produce an output which is an appropriate output only if you give an proper input. If you are executing a for loop and if you don't know what is the input to be given a for loop, it will definitely run in an infinite state and it will halt. It will never halt. It will just keep on running. Okay, so that is not our objective. Our objective is to give an proper input to the machine so that it processes all your input properly and produce you a corresponding required output. Whatever is the required output for us, it should produce us with that output, is the expectation from us from the automation system. Okay, so this we have already discussed in previous lecture. Also very important, we have discussed how to define a machine in terms of 5 tuple, and those 5 tuple were capital letter M equals to Q, summation, transition, initial state and final state, where capital letter Q represented the total number of state, summation represented the total number of inputs which are being used in system, transition we have already discussed, initial state, how to represent an initial state and find an initial state, and circle with an arrow symbol is used to denote that it is an initial state or starting state, and any state with having two circles, that are called as the halt state or the final states or terminating states. Okay, so now next topic of today's discussion is what is DFA and what is NDFA. See, DFA is the sense it is deterministic finite automata, means everything has to be determined in priorly advance itself. Since the machine and all its working inputs, processing and output are being determined prior itself, that's why it is called as a deterministic finite automata. Means everything is predefined to us. We know what is. If we press a button, the fan will rotate. We know what is the operation after switching on the button. Electricity will be passed to it, and the fan will start working. So we know everything. But in NDFA, there are some possibilities that a system may undergo some infinite type of input which are null inputs or epsilon moves. In this situation, when we do not know what the input will be given to the system at a particular instance T1, it is impossible to perform the internal calculation and produce the output. So in such type of system where we are unable to determine its working based on the input symbols, that type of system is non-deterministic finite automata. See, deterministic means everything will be known to you, and non-deterministic is finite automata is some states we will be unable to process and we will be unable to calculate the transition between the states. See, it is possible to convert this NDFA means non-deterministic finite automata to an deterministic finite automata. In your examination, either it is an MCQ based or either it is an theory paper, this is an important point of discussion of differences between what is difference between deterministic finite automata and what is difference between non-deterministic finite automata. See, everyone will like a system which is having an predetermined output. Nobody will like a system which is producing any undefined output. Okay, so that's why the popularity of DFA deterministic finite automata is more as compared to non-deterministic finite automata. Even if a system is undergoing or undergone under NDFA, it will surely have to be converted back to DFA, means it has to be converted into deterministic finite automata. So that important point of difference between deterministic and non-deterministic finite automata are, you can have a look or you can take a screenshot of this. Okay, for each, see, deterministic and non-deterministic both are represented by the 5 tuple machine capital letter M which we have already designed. Okay, these are deterministic finite automata are the system which are actually implemented, which will produce a corresponding output based on the given input condition. Okay, so since these systems are implemented and it will be useful for the user, see, they are machine implemented systems. Okay, next, if you see this, here I have written that output may contain no transition. I was telling you that state may change. Okay. So output may contain no transition. It is not compulsory that output will transition from one state to another state. That's why I have written here. It may contains no transition. That is, it may remain to the same state itself. Important to note that DFA will never use an empty string transition. This is only the property of NDFA, where it can use empty string or null string, or we can say that an epsilon move. Okay, but in DFA, everything has to be predetermined, so that is why we cannot use an empty string as a transition, or we cannot provide any empty string or null string as an input. In DFA, the possible state is a distinctly set, which is available under the capital letter Q. Means if a input is applied to a state which is a part of capital letter Q, then we may get a next state which is also a part of capital letter Q itself. That is, no new state will be found. Once we determine capital letter Q, what is capital letter Q? It is a total number of states present in the system. So, first parameter has to be identified first while calculating capital letter M. So here we already know that capital letter Q is having the total number of states. So this in DFA, the next possible state is a possibly distinctly set among the states of capital letter Q. That is, whenever an input is applied to Q naught, suppose that input is 0, it may change to Q1. So Q1 will be next state, and it is a part of capital letter Q. This is what I mean to say. These are machine implementable because everything is known to you. All the DFA are NFA. Okay, they are having an equivalence property, equivalence between DFA and NFA, which we will see in the upcoming lectures. What is the equivalence property between DFA and NFA? Okay, so all DFA are NFA. You have to just keep this in mind. Okay. Reverse of this is NFA. Here you have to more than one possible output correspond to the same input set is possible, because you may give an epsilon input or a null input to a state. This, whenever you are giving an infinite output which is not recognized by the user as well as the machine, then the machines cannot be implemented. See, we always implement a machine to produce a specific output depending on the input given by the user. If you are giving a null input to the machine, you are not able to identify what will be the working of the machine, and after processing, what will the output produced by the machine. So everything cannot be determined. That is why these are called as a not machine implementable. You will never implement such type of machine in which the output cannot be predicted in advance. So, but if you try to convert this ND phase, that no, we have to implement this system, then what is the primary requirement? That the primary requirement will be, you have to convert this NDFA, non-deterministic finite automata, to a deterministic finite automata. So you have to see which is the domain. You have to change it from an undefined to an defined. So NDFA will be converted into DFA. And once it is converted into DFA, we know that DFA are machine implemented systems. So if you plan that you have to convert a NDFA to a DFA, then definitely you have to first convert this NDFA into a DFA. Okay. NFA can use empty string transition. This is what I am telling. You have to you have to take this into consideration and remember this very much thoroughly, that NFA may use empty string transition, but DFA cannot use empty string transition. This is a very important difference between DFA and NDFA. For machine implementation, it has to be converted into equivalent DFA. See, here, if you see that I am writing an word which is called as equivalent. Just I am underlining this equivalent. See, all NFA can be recognized by a DFA. All NFA can be recognized by a DFA. You have to convert that NFA to a DFA. Okay. But during this conversion, sometimes if the system is large and if all the inputs are given in an infinite domain, sometimes it may create some issues while we are converting this NFA into DFA. So you have to be very specific regarding what type of system which we are considering. Okay. So this is the difference between DFA and NDFA. In short, if I summarize this, DFA is deterministic, NFA is non-deterministic, Every operation in DFA will be recognized by the user in advance itself. In NFA, some states may contain epsilon moves, null moves, so it becomes very hard for the user to understand what will be the output after producing and after giving an sorry, after giving an null move as an input to the system. The user cannot determine what the output will be. So that's why it is a non-deterministic finite system. Any doubt till in this? Yes, you can unmute anyone and speak. Any doubt in this? Shall I continue? Yes, anyone?
Continue, sir. No doubt.
See, again there is an property that I have just explained, underline the word which is an equivalence. See, all the system of NFA can be converted into an DFA. Okay, how to convert this? By introducing some new states which I will explain you in the upcoming slide. But just you remember that all the NFAs has to be can be converted into an DFA. Okay, they may have a difference in structure, but the structure can or may change, but the meaning should not change. That is what I am trying to explain. Equivalence means the structure may change, but the meaning of the structure or meaning of the machine should not change. This is what I try to explain about equivalence of DFA. There is one theorem in order to explain the equivalence systems, equivalence between DFA and NDFA. Now, these equivalence and reduction in finite automation are said to be n equivalent if their behavior is same for all possible strings up to the length n. Means we can have n equivalence, n level equivalence to exit, which is necessary that n must already be existing. Means when we are talking about the system, we must be recognized about all the n number of states which are already existent in the system. Then only we can say that it is an finite domain. If all the things are being recognized in the prior itself, then we can say that these are all recognized system. That's why that is it is all finite system. The concept of level equivalence can be used to reduce the size of a given automation. Now, how to reduce the size of a given automation? This is a very important concept which I will discuss in the next upcoming lecture. How we can minimize the size of a given automation. It is also called as the minimization problem. M-I-N-I-M-I-Z-A-T-I minimization. How to minimize a given automation. But in order to minimize a given automation, first we should develop an automation. First, we will learn how an automation system is developed. Then we will go for minimization. Okay. Now, prior to going to this, let me explain you some example. So this is nothing but the theory of computation text, which I have already suggested it to you that you all should have this text with you. Okay. Now consider this. What we are trying to explain here is the equivalence between the DFA and NFA, which I have already explained. So this equivalence of DFA and NFA has to be thoroughly by heart by you everyone, because this, if it is a theory paper, then this will be asked, this may be asked, it may be asked. what is the equivalence between an DFA and an NFA? Okay, this type of questions may be asked. Okay, so we should be prepared what is the DFA and what is the NFA and how equivalence between those exists. So already I have discussed how the equivalence will appear. Now we will see this with an example. If you see an example, it will be very easy for you to understand this theorem. Okay, now we shall see one example. See, these type of problems are expected to construct a deterministic finite automata, which is a DFA, deterministic finite automata, or DA, deterministic finite state machine DS, or FA, DA, to capital letter M. Now we know that capital letter M has been evaluated in terms of 5 parameters. What is this capital letter Q? Here there are two states given. See, if we compare this, if we compare this line with the standard definition, what is our standard definition? Capital letter M equals to bracket capital letter Q summation, then transition, then initial state, and then final state. So if we compare this with that, here you can understand that capital letter Q is having only two states, and those states are Q naught and Q1. Summation is the total number of input which will be given to the system, and those inputs are 0 and 1. Transition, we will see how the transition will takes place. Here it is written transition is defined by the state table. So we will see that once we finish this. Q naught is the initial state. Okay, it is a part of Q and it is an initial state. See, final state is also Q naught, means the machine starts at Q naught and it terminates and at Q naught itself. So start state and terminating states both are Q naught. How we recognize? It is given in this problem. It is represented by this capital letter Q, capital letter M given in the problem itself. We are comparing this capital letter M with the definition of DFA which we have studied earlier. Now everything is defined, but what about this transition? See, the transition is defined by this state table. What is the state table? This is the state table. So state is Q naught. See, this state is given indicated by an arrow with a circle. That's why we call this as an initial state. Now this Q naught is also final state. So again, one more circle is expected over here, which is called as the final state also. So this state table, when an input of 0 is given to Q naught, it will be again at Q naught itself. When an input of 1 is given to Q naught, it will change its state from Q naught to Q1. Means it will move from Q naught to Q1. Similarly, for Q1, if we give an input as 0, it will remain to the same state. But when we give as input to Q1 is 1, it will change its states from Q0 Q1. Means if we give as 1 as input, it will come to Q0 itself and it will go to Q1 itself. Means it will produce, it will transit, it will do a transition at Q0 and Q1 both states itself after giving 1 as input. So here we have been given only two states. Just remember that Q0 and Q1 are being given. But Q0 and Q1 state table transitions are given, but we do not know what is the transition for Q0 and Q1. So how to find the transition for Q0 and Q1? Now in this, we know what are the states which applying input to the system. Okay. So when we are very much familiar that whenever we'll give a 0, to state q naught, it will remain at q naught. When we will give as 1, it will transit its states from q naught to q1. Okay, so here you will have to use properties of set, and that property is the union property. Now our aim is to find a new set which is appearing in the state table, and that state is q naught q1. Now we have to find the transition for this state. See, what are the transitions for this state we will find here. See, q naught q1 means you have to take a union of this q naught and q1. When we apply an input of 0 to q naught and q1, it will produce both states. See, when I am applying an input at q naught, it will produce an q naught state. When I am applying an input 0 to q1, it is coming to q1 state. So it is giving me both the states, q naught and q1. That's why I have written q naught q1. Similarly, if I check for q naught and q1 with an input 1, here you have to see that when I give an input as 1, it is coming to q1, but when I am giving as input 1 to q1, it is producing me q naught and q1. See, q1 is repeating 2 times, but we have to write this only once, and that is q naught and q1. Are you getting? So the next state, which is a new state which was given in this state table as q naught q1, we have find its corresponding transition after applying an input of 0 and 1 respectively. So the output after applying 0 will be q naught q1, and after applying 1 will also be q naught q1. This is how we have converted this we have constructed this DFA from the given automation system. Okay. Now here you have to see that there are totally 3 states. Now the machine, it may have some null state also. Definitely the machine will not be always in working condition. It may be at an hot state also. For that state we are adding a null moves to the system, which are null phi. Whenever we are giving an input 0, at that time also phi, or whenever you are giving an input 1, at that time also it will be at phi state. Okay, so the idea is, from the given transition state table, you find here new states. So when a new state is encountered, you will calculate the transitions for the new state by using the union property. Okay, here you can see you have applied the union property. Whenever you are applying q naught and sorry for this the transition of q naught to q naught and q1, upon applying an input will give you q naught q1, already explained. Okay, so this is how we find an deterministic from an non-deterministic. See, here q naught and q1 were not defined by the system itself, but now since they were non-deterministic, we have converted that into a deterministic. Now here we were not aware what are the, if we give an input of 0 or if we give an input as 1, what the system will react. But now once you have converted that NFA to DFA, now you have already, now you know that uh, what the transition of q naught and q1 will be after applying 0 and 1. This is how we convert a non-deterministic to a deterministic automata. Okay. Again, if you see another example, there are n number of examples. See here in this, again, if you compare the capital letter M with the standard definition, you can assume that capital letter Q having 3 states, Q naught, Q1 and Q2. Input applied on the systems are A and B. Transition, which is given by the state diagram. Q naught is the initial state. Here it is represented by an arrow. That's why it is an initial state. And Q2 is the final state, which is represented by a circle. Again, this type of system is DFA or NFA? Yes, anyone? Yes, anyone unmute and speak. This is an type example of an deterministic or non-deterministic? Yes, anyone speak? Yes, anyone? No problem. If it is wrong also, no, there is no problem in that. What is that? You have to just say whether it is deterministic or a non-deterministic. Definitely, here we are seeing that here input is not given. For Q2, if an A is given as input, what will be my next state? Here I do not have any state. So this is an non-deterministic. Now we have to construct a deterministic automata for this non-deterministic automata. Okay, are you understanding? Any doubt? Hello? Yes, anyone on chat? Any doubt?
No doubt, sir.
Are you understanding? Everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everyone speak. Are you understanding on chat? Give me quick confirmation. Shall I explain it more slowly? Good. Many people are understanding. I will try to explain in slow mode also. See, the concept of NDFA is the output is not given. See, how to recognize whether it is an DFA or NFA. So wherever you find there is a loop and something is not, you are not able to determine what will be the output, that type of system is non-deterministic. When everything will be defined, then it is deterministic. In previous example, see, transition for Q0 or Q1 were not defined. So that is why I was telling that it is a non-deterministic finite state machine. But what we have done, we know what are the different input 0 and 1. We know what is Q0, what is Q1. So when we calculated the next state transitions for Q0 and Q1, now here it were not known to us. Now in this step all the transitions are known to us. So that is why this is NDFA, non-deterministic, it is deterministic. Similarly, if you see this next example, here if you try to see this, see only three states transitions are given, Q0, Q1 and Q2. Again, is any transition given for Q0, Q1? No. Is any transition given for Q0, Q1 के लिए there are no transition. So here we have to calculate what are the transitions will be for Q0, Q1 upon applying input as A and B. Okay. Also here you can see that whenever the state Q2 is given as input A, we do not know what will be our next state. Okay. So since these are the two types of infinite things which we have recognized in this state table, that's why it is a non-deterministic, and the problem says that convert this non-deterministic into a deterministic equivalent machine. Okay, now how to check this is, again we will compare this with the standard definition. Capital letter Q equals to, this is a non-deterministic, capital letter M, which is equals to M equals to 2 to the power Q, means here Q is having three values, Q0, Q1 and Q2. 2 to the power 3, Q की वैल्यू कितनी है, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so 2 to the power 3 is equals to 8, means our system will have a maximum number of 8 states. Okay, what will be that? It will be Q0, First step is Q naught, second state Q1, third state Q2, fourth state Q naught Q1, fifth state Q1 Q2, sixth state Q naught Q2, seventh state Q naught Q1 Q2, and eighth state is the phi or null state. So this is the 2 to the power q, which is the total number of states which can be at the maximum will be 8. But here in the diagram, it is given only 3 states, Q0, Q1 and Q2, and one new state whose transitions are not defined. So here what will happen is we will first calculate the transition for Q0, Q2. Okay. How we will calculate this? By applying the union property. See Q0 and Q1, when we will apply input, see Q0 and Q1. Here it is Q1. Q1 के लिए it is given as Q. So the state which will be obtained as output after applying input as A is Q0, Q1 will be given the next state as Q0, Q1. Okay. And if you apply an input B, what will happen? Here you can check both the Q1 and Q2. Okay. In this Q0 and Q1, next state will be Q1 and Q2. So here you can see I have written Q1 and Q2. Again, if you try to check Q1 and Q2, again, we do not know what will be the output after applying the inputs. So we will again calculate Q1 and Q2. We know Q1 and Q2, it is Q0. It is not given. So Q0 union null is already Q0. So it will be Q0. And for Q1, Q2, after applying B, see Q1 and Q2, these are the two states. And input B is applied, so it will be Q0, Q1. So here it is Q0, Q1. Now we halt over here because is any new state identified? See, total number of states which can appear in this state system is 8. How much states are appearing? 1, 2, Q0, Q1 and Q2, 3. Okay. Fourth one is Q0, Q1. Fifth one is Q1, Q2. Okay. So out of 8, only 5 states are appearing. So this is our finite equivalent automation for the given non-deterministic automation. Okay. See, so Q2 here it was given null move, infinite move. We have brought it to a finite domain and we have written null over here. Means whenever an input of A is given to state Q2, it will produce no movement, no transition. It will remain as it is. Okay. This is how we have converted a non-deterministic machine to a deterministic machine. Okay. So again, there are same example of this type. Here you can see, here there are 4 states given. Means here 2 to the power q is equals to value of capital letter Q will be, see, there are total 4 entries, 1, 2, 3, 4. So value of capital letter Q will be 4. 2 to the power 4 is equals to 16 states which can be a part of this deterministic finite automata. So as during computation you identify some new states, here in this, if we consider about this example, the new state which is appearing in front of us is the Q0, Q1. So we will calculate the value of Q0, Q1. One thing you have to take this into consideration is, this is the given problem. See, remember, listen very carefully. This is the given state diagram. We have to write the expected deterministic automata. See, here it is not represented by an angle bracket, square bracket, but now you have to write the final output in terms of square bracket, which are nothing but it is a part of the states of deterministic finite automata, and only those automated systems only those states will be represented here which are reachable from this given. See, when you are applying for q naught, if you give an a as input, next state will be q naught q1, so it has to be represented, because after applying a as input to q, it will produce me the next state as q naught q1, so q naught q1 will be a part of our transition. Also, here it is given as q3 is an final state, so all states having q3 with it will also be a part of the final deterministic finite automata. Okay, so these are the two things which you have to take into consideration for converting an non-deterministic finite state machine into an deterministic finite state machine. Any doubt till here? Anyone is having any doubt? Yes on chat, please.
No, sir. No,
Thank
sir.
you. Anyone on chat? Yes, reply immediately on chat. Any doubt? Yes, give a quick confirmation, everyone. I can see there are 26 persons. Everyone should reply. Yes. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for your reply. Now, just keep in mind that only NFA can be converted into DFA, but its meaning should not change. See, here previously I have said you that the structure will change. Okay, see here what is the structure of the state table, and see here what is the structure of the state table. This structure may change, but the meaning should not change. What is this is explained here by this topic as equivalence of DFA and NFA. Now you have understood how to convert an NFA into DFA. Now I will explain you this theorem, how this theorem works. Naturally, we may feel that a DFA can simulate the behavior of NFA, yes, by increasing the number of states. Now, have you increased the number of states? Yes, because DFA only allow Q state and DFA allows 2 to the power Q states. Yes, so we are increasing the number of states. If I have not explained you the example first, this theorem would not go, you would not be able to learn or understand what I am trying to say. But now, since we have discussed the example, now you will have a very quick idea about what I am trying to explain about the equivalence of DFA and NDFA. Okay. Now you can see DFA may simulate the behavior of NDFA. Yes, we have validated that by increasing number of states. Which states which are new to the system whose transitions are not determined. So we will consider those states and we will find out the transitions of the new states. Any NDFA is a more general machines without being more powerful. Why it is said that these are less powerful? Because sometimes when we are not knowing what are the input, the system may halt. Thus, whenever a system will halt, it will all definitely produce a system with low power or low throughput. Okay, so this is what the statement is. Now the theorem is for every NDFA, For every non-deterministic finite automata, there exists a DFA which simulates the behavior of NDFA, means the meaning of that non-deterministic finite automata will not change for the DFA. This is what the statement here is meant. So for that, we know what is the capital letter M, but for this we are representing at M dash. Okay, M dash is nothing but it is the same system for NDFA. We know this capital letter M is for DFA, M dash is for NDFA. So here Q dash is equals to 2 to the power Q. Here for DFA, Q is total number of states present in the system. For NDFA, Q is 2 to the power Q. Suppose value of Q is 2, that is Q0 and Q1, two states are present. For NDFA, there will be 2 to the power Q, means total 4 states will be present, which will be first one phi, second one Q0, third one Q1, and fourth one Q0 Q1. Okay, if I say Q0 Q1, if I say Q1 Q0, both are same, union, applying the union property. Okay, so I will just say Q0 Q1. So this is NDFA, this is DFA. Q naught is the starting state. Here Q dash naught will be the starting state for NDFA. Here F will be the final state, and F dash will be the final state for my NDFA. Okay. So when I am applying the transitions on this, I am trying to find a new states, and for those new states, here you can see for those new states, I will apply the input and I will calculate the union. See, here I am calculating the union, and then I will produce an equivalent state with having an respected output. Here you can see in this, for producing an output for Q0 Q1, I have applied the union property for this Q0 and Q1. I have applied Q0 union Q1 will give you Q0 Q1, and for here Q0 Q1 Q1, here again it will applying the union property, it will produce me a state as Q0 Q1. So the same thing has been explained over here is when I am applying the use union property, it will give me an output. This output will be also an output which is a part of capital letter Q. Okay. By similarly for all those states which we encounter, those states are the new states, we'll apply this same property and we'll try to calculate all the next state transitions for all the new states in the system, and then we at the end we will conclude that yes, all the states are now being converted from a non-deterministic system to a deterministic system. Then at that time you have to just represent those states by means of these square brackets which we have already explained in the example. So that is a very important to remember the equivalence between DFA and NFA. Remember one thing, only non-deterministic finite automata will be converted to a deterministic finite automata. You cannot convert a DFA to NFA. You will always convert a non-deterministic to a deterministic. जो सिस्टम ऑलरेडी अच्छा चल रहा है उसको हम खराब नहीं करेंगे, जो सिस्टम हमें कुछ एरर जनरेट कर रहा है या इनफाइनाइट मूव्स है उस सिस्टम में या ट्रांजिशंस कुछ पता नहीं है, those type of non-deterministic systems need to be converted into a deterministic system. So very important note that non-deterministic can be converted into a deterministic, but the meaning should not change. State table may change. Some states may be added, some states may be reduced. Structure of state table may change, but its meaning will never change. That is the meaning of equivalence of DFA and NFA. Okay. A quick confirmation, please. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Just by heart this equivalence theorem. There are some
Yes, sir.
4 to 5 theorems in this. You have to, I will tell you each unit having one or two. In this first unit, this is very important. Equivalence of deterministic finite automata and non-deterministic finite automata. Yes, everyone, reply on chat. Any doubt? Yes, I am waiting.
No, sir.
Reply on chat, everyone. Okay, okay, thank you. This we have seen is all about the systems which were producing me a finite automata from a non-deterministic to a deterministic. In previous lecture, we have seen how a deterministic system works. In today's lecture, I have discussed what are the equivalence of deterministic finite automata, non-deterministic finite automata, what is the difference between deterministic finite automata, non-deterministic finite automata, how will you convert a non-deterministic system into a deterministic system. Okay. Okay, so if you have any doubt you can ask me. That's all for today. In the next lecture we will try to discuss about finite state machines which are capable of producing output. Okay, so those types of machine which will generate as output will be discussed in the next lecture, which will be conducted in the upcoming class. Yes, if you have any doubt you can ask me.